Yeah, mixed emotions on the weekend. I think it's tough anytime you don't get a result when you go out in a match, and especially when in both matches, like it's a game of inches is very true. But I think our team had moments of both those games where we're pretty dominant, and so to walk away with 2 losses is difficult. But it's how you build resilience. You have to go through a little bit of valley to get back to the peak, and I think our team is resilient. They fight hard every game. We have a lot of young players getting really, really good experience. It's cool to see Soph and Paris get rewarded for their hard work. But we're back in the grind right away. To John's point, the Mountain West is everybody. I think right now the point differential from 1st to 10th is like 3. Well, it's from 3rd to, yeah. So every game matters, and we feel like going to Nevada, we know we're going to have another really tough one. Same with UNLV. It's a tough weekend kind of flying in between the 2 places. But this group's going to fight. They're going to show up, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to play for each other. And I know that that's the right recipe for success in the end, but sometimes it does take a little bit of resilience and for these guys to keep fighting. So we're in a good place. We're obviously a little bit disappointed with the result, but they work very hard, and they're going to continue to do that. And I know that will lead where they need to be.
Was that the message afterwards, Coach, just about, early on in the season, and that eventually, you hope that hard work will pay off? Was that the message, just to try to temper what went down last week with the team?
I mean, it's always the message. It's the message when we're winning. It's the message when we're losing. It's that we're bought into our own process, and that we continue to focus on the way we do things and not always the result, which can sometimes be very difficult, especially when, I think in both those games statistically we had the advantage, and certainly in like the last 30 minutes of Boise State, like they're changing formations and scrambling, and if that team is top of the conference, we're certainly not far off. So I think considering some of the players we lost and some of the inexperience we have, like it is process driven, and we are going to stay true to that. We're never going to be the team that just stops playing the way that we want to play, and but sometimes it takes a few bumps, and that's what happened this weekend. So.
And Coach, there's only a few more games left in conference play. What are you telling your team to kind of dig deep at this time of the year when it comes?
I don't have to tell them anything. It's if you come to training, they're just an exceptional group of young women. They always are, and they love playing for this university. They know what it means to wear New Mexico on your chest, and I think they feel pressure to not let that standard down. So that doesn't need to come from me. Motivation comes from players, and these guys have never lacked it. It's just. Yeah, we're going to go do like a seance on the crossbar or something. Like, it's just been some bad bounces, but that's the game.
Can you talk about this week's road trips and just, what stands out about, both Nevada and UNLV?
Yeah, they're both very well-coached teams. So Nevada has a first-year head coach, and you can see, I think sometimes when you have a first-year head coach, there's a little bit of a bump in energy, and she certainly brought that to that program. They historically have not done as well as they already are, so it's kind of cool to see them get that bump and play at a higher level. But they're playing very hard right now. They're tough to beat. They haven't given up a lot of goals all season. And then UNLV is the same. Like they're very talented. They're a little bit young. And I think when you watch some of their games, if you couldn't see the goals, you'd think they were winning them. Like they play great soccer. They have a couple really creative freshmen up top that are pretty impressive. So we're gonna have to be clean, but we have to get results now. Like we've put ourselves in a little bit of hole on points. So we're gonna go for it.
Any questions?
Were there steps of progress, but just maybe not individual goals, but were there just steps you wanted to see along the way as the Mountain West tournament gets closer and closer, just where you're at with those?
Yeah, it's individual and collective, right? Like you want to see young players be put in positions where they're tested, because that's the only way that you learn. And they have been. I think at some point we started 5 freshmen at different times of the year. Towards the end of the game, our entire backline was freshmen and a senior. Our goalkeeper is a sophomore. Like it's watching these players get into these heated battles, and then the next time they do it, they have a different sense of confidence. They have a different sense of resilience. And again, the only way you do that is you do it. And these guys they show up and they fight every game and they don't stop. And I'm very, very proud to be a part of that. Like I think they're a special group, but it's hard when you're doing that and you don't get the results, So it's just staying true to it. And I think like you look at some of the experience they're getting, and that at some point that's going to pay off.
So with a young team, it's really a season-long process of development and confidence building.
I view it as a career-long process. If you think when you come into a program, you're 18 years old, we get 14 days to prepare our athletes. We can't train them any longer than that. So they literally move here, move away from home. You have 14 days to get them ready. They start school, They have to do their own laundry. Like you're drinking out of a hot fire hose as a freshman, and then you put them into environments where they're expected to perform, and that can be hard. And then all of a sudden they're seniors or they're 6-year seniors and they're adults and they're ready. And that process to me is the coolest thing about college athletics, is this development of people. And that's what's so impressive about our group, is the senior leadership, but also the young players looking up to them, and they set a standard. So all across the board, just proud of the group.